Okay, let's talk about but the main thing I wanted to say was basically I was watching the movie Would You Be My Neighbor with for the first time. I know I'm late as hell, but it was alright. I used to watch Mr. Rogers. I did back in the day. Then I realized my passion for like actual cartoons, and it was just on from there. But yeah, I used to watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and yeah, one quote from that movie that stuck out for me, and it was like I'm gonna just play it. But if
Watched your show as a youngster. I wasn't allowed to go to preschool because I had a disability, and my mom made me watch your show every day. So thank you.
Bless your heart,
Thank
and
you
here
for
you
my
are.
preschool education.
And thank you for inspiring me today.
At the very end of Fred's very last commencement speech, he said what he meant when he said, "You're special."
And what that ultimately means, of course, is that you don't ever have to do anything sensational for people to love you.
It is really a matter of believing that you're endowed by your Creator with good.
if you don't see it, that's because YouTube said that it was copyrighted. So don't be mad at me. The main thing is that if you don't see it, and I'm gonna just paraphrase. Speciality. I said speciality. Is that even a word? Specialty. What is your specialty in this world? And the quote that stuck with me is, he said that you don't have to be special, or excuse me, you don't have to be. Let me make sure, because I hate paraphrasing and getting it wrong. But it's just some thoughts that was on my mind when I watched it that made it just truly stuck with me. You don't have to do anything sensational for people to love you, and that shit hit. Cause sensational can mean a lot of things, but what it meant to me personally was just have amazing feats. You know what I mean? Have amazing feats for people to love you. That shit really hit me because as a young man growing up, first of all, as a little boy growing up into a man at an early age, even as a young man, I realized that first of all, let me be clear. I understand that life isn't fair. I don't need the life isn't fair crew to come at me. I already understand that aspect. That's a given. But my main thing is when you realize these things in a later half of your life, that's when you have the quote unquote rage of everybody's playing by a certain game and you're still trying to figure this shit out. You're still catching up. And that's when shit can go left. Because it depends on what you do with that rage. You know what I mean? Me personally, I'm rational. I'm a rational man. At times I can be passionate and even more so compulsive to do things, but I've slowed down a lot more than I was back in the past. More so, I've slowed down because of the wisdom rather than, you know what I mean? I could have acted on shit, but I know what I don't want. How about that? It's fear can move you to do different things, you know what I mean? Anger is a part of fear to me, because the funny thing is that I was angry that I didn't know, and I was feared that I lost something that I didn't have. I thought that I did not have what it means to be a man, what it means to be a human, first of all, but what it means to be a man, because of the lack of knowledge that I had, lack of wisdom that I had. That's why I was telling my mentor earlier this year, Happy New Year's, and I told him I love him, man. I told him I love him, and I appreciate him for all the nuggets and information that he gave me. It's a Muslim brother. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not his son, but I look at him like a father, for real. You know what I mean? One of those dudes that really put you on game and would take you in and feed you if he needed. You know what I mean? Like that type of shit. And I think that a lot of men need that in this age. Even if they do have fathers, they still need men around them that would, if it's not older men, but just men around them that would do shit like that. Men with knowledge or power or wisdom that can that some young men are actually trying to learn what this world is about, and that was definitely me. But I was watching that, and right before I was watching that, I was watching Pluto. I watched Pluto. It's a good series. It's a really good series. But a lot of people hated Mr. Rogers. Let me go back to Mr. Rogers. A lot of people did not like Mr. Rogers. And the reason why they did not like Mr. Rogers is because they thought that he bred soft kids. Soft children. Excuse me, not even soft children. They thought that he bred entitled children. Entitlement is dangerous, right? Because entitlement can spoil children. You know what I mean? It can have them thinking that they're owed. That's why I wanted to start this shit off. Like, I'm not saying that I'm owed anything. I don't think that I'm owed a damn thing. What I do know is it's a dangerous and slippery slope when you don't acknowledge the fact that when you lack certain things are bound to happen. You know what I mean? Main thing is this. When they got mad at him for that, I can understand where they're coming from, but I don't think depends on how you take the information. Once again, going back to what I was saying before, it depends on how you take the information, because I know that there's some people and children that may have been coddled, you know what I mean, when they were younger. But I will say that those children probably weren't of a certain background. I'll say they weren't of a certain class. I'll say, because a lot of the times when I hear that entitlement, I hear it from children that may have had silver spoons in their mouths. Not saying that children from poorer communities don't have entitlement. I'll just say that children from poorer communities, you know, they have a right to feel like they feel because they actually been through the fucking shit. You know what I mean? Kids that's from the upper elite and upper class. I was watching Succession. I do understand that those kids probably weren't treated well because of emotionally distanced, more so because their parents was working all the time. But when you're living in survival mode, it's a different conversation. You know what I mean? When you're eating trash, you have food deserts. You go outside, you see fucking condoms and fucking needles on the floor. You could possibly be shot at your school on some random shit. Living in that type of environment, it's a little bit more tricky, I'll say. Both are bad, yes, but let's just stop the cap. When you in the hood, you got a little bit more of a reason to feel angry. It's like that James Baldwin quote, when, to be black and to be conscious in America, you're gonna be in a constant state of rage. Some people that don't like you and you don't know what the fuck, like, I don't even know you, dog. You know what I mean? They just, nah, I don't fuck with you. And they don't even know, but they don't know why they don't like you. It's just something that has always been, you know what I mean? But needless to say, going back to my original point, you don't have to do anything. Mr. Rogers said you don't have to do anything sensational. That's his words, to be loved. And that hit me as a man, because people were thinking that he was saying that you don't have to do anything to be seen as special. You know what I mean? Like a whole saying of, everybody's a special little snowflake, that type of shit. I get it, you know what I mean? I don't agree with everybody being a special snowflake. I understand that aspect when people say that. I think that people are all different in how they consume information and how they take in certain things chemically different, you know what I mean? But as far as the special little snowflake, I think that can be, it's just, shame and insults. But if we weren't looked at as not different, then we wouldn't have racism. You know what I mean? They play one in, and those same people will be prejudiced or be racist or be classist or be, elitist. So it's just shame and insults. But yeah, that's one of the things that I feel like us as men, we have to do things to be loved. And that's why that quote by Mr. Rogers hit me so hard. I feel like as men, we have been taught that if you are no use to the community or of no use to the woman or women, then you are of no use. And it's funny because these so-called feminists that want to have this progressive outlook on life and say things like, well, a woman isn't just pregnancy. You know what I mean? She isn't her womb. She isn't her vagina. You know what I mean? What she can do. Basically, a woman isn't what she can do for the community or men, right? Well, that's right. I do agree with you. You know what I mean? She is her own. She can have her own identity and however she feels as though she wants to go about life. That's cool. I have no argument in that. But it's crazy how those same people will be up in arms when a man doesn't want to do what the woman wants him to do or what the community wants him to do. He is like the Andrew Tate of the world. You know what I mean? The Andrew Tates of the world. You know what I mean? It's the I'm gonna just do this because I want to fucking do it, and regardless of what the world may think, I'm doing it because for me. You know what I mean? Like fuck the world, type shit. Now, of course, I'm being facetious when it comes to Andrew Tate because he's a very big exception because of the quote unquote clout and social media that's behind him. But just mainly men doing whatever the fuck they feel like they want to do, regardless of whether it benefits women. I'll give you an example. There's this thing where, a lot of women feel as though, a man that steps up into the stepfather role is exemplary. Like he's like top notch of a man. He's like what all men need to do. But of course you would say that as a woman, you know what I mean? Because just in case you ever need that type of situation, not saying that women would, but it would be beneficial to women or womankind. You understand what I mean? Rather than the countless amounts of paternity fraud, the countless amounts of women waiting last minute, you know what I mean, to acknowledge the man that's probably been there for I don't know how long. You know what I mean? She knows for a fact that she got that one dude. She know for a fact she got that one fucking dude that she can always count on. That's gonna always be there because he told her. You know what I mean? He told her that he's gonna always be there. Now, whether it's good or bad, I'm not here to say that. But what my main thing is that funny thing is that man gonna be the man that stepped up. He's prided by something that a lot of women feel entitled to. You understand what I mean? Because I'm sure you how this internet shit goes with all of the baby mothers, and I don't know how I got pregnant in Atlanta, but now I got this man's child, and he's the fifth baby mother, but he told me it was gonna be different, and it's like the accountability on that behalf. You know what I mean? But going back to what I was saying before, men from high to low caliber of men have always felt as though, unless they was raised a certain type of way with a certain type of knowledge of themselves, to put themselves in a high position, a very, very high position. Some people would even say egotistical. Some people would say narcissistic. You know what I mean? They always think in themselves, which can in turn be narcissistic of that person to say, which is the funny thing about narcissists. But it's like a never ending open and closed door. Like, you know what I mean? Like saloons is like, you could say somebody is narcissistic, but you could be considered narcissistic for telling them that they're narcissistic. You know what I mean? And narcissism. That's a fucking lovely playground to play in. Had a woman tell me that. And have throughout the years of humankind, I've always felt as though, I have to be necessary. I have to be useful. We pride ourselves on being useful. You know what I mean? Our brains are like, it's tests shown that our brains use that tool. What can I use to fix the problem? Solving, we need solutions. Like that's how our brains work, right? But what happens when it comes to relationship and how that affects the people that we're in a relationship with? Because even if we are in that mind state of I need to be of use, that mind state doesn't last too damn long, bruh. I always have that mind state, but it gets taxing. It gets exhausting as a man. always be the rock and not really have, not a shoulder, but more so a way to express himself, which is funny because I have art, right? A lot of men don't have art. Some men have gym. A lot of men don't have gym. What about the men that don't have gym or art? You know what I mean? Or don't acknowledge the art in life, the passion in life. You know what I mean? The dopamine in doing. Just a little bit of things to think about as a man. Yeah, this is coming from a man that didn't have his father in his life, right? It's no fault of my own. You know what I mean? I was just a child. I don't know what the hell my mom and my dad got going on. I found out. It is what it is. My mother was trying to protect me, you know what I mean? And that's her sentiments, I'm sure. But I've grown to be the man that it believes that it's not about you. When that child comes into this world, it's about that child. It's supposed to be, you know what I mean? It's supposedly be about that child, but most people, even when they have children, it's still about them. This is coming from a man that, well, excuse me, a boy that didn't have a childhood because I was protecting and raising two younger women. Young ladies, at the age of 8, because I had to be the man of the house, which is a statement that I've grown to not really like and hate that that's what we have to do. Going back to the communities that I said that certain people live in the luxuries. But this is coming from a man that this is coming from a man that's been in certain instances with the women in his life where it's kind of a tool. I was a tool. Bring Chris over because we got to move something. Bring Chris over because we got to do something. Bring Chris over because whether it's family, friends, or relationships, it's just at the time, it was how I recognized myself as being of use to the women around me. I mean, which is, cool. You know what I mean? That's cool. But it's like, if it's going to be that, let that be what it is. You know what I mean? Don't say that it's a problem later on. You know what I mean? When I am of that stature and I'm running myself as so. You know what I mean? So to give you an example of what I mean is I was watching the show Succession and how that father is, god damn, he's a fucked up person. But he's trying. I do see that he's trying. God damn, he's not trying hard enough. You know what I mean? But then I remember one time it was a picture of him coming. He was getting out the pool. I guess he was in another state and he was getting out the pool. And you can see the whelps on his back like he was a fucking slave. And I'm sure that was his father whipping the fuck out of him. You know what I mean? That passed down trauma. You know what I mean? So I couldn't really blame it on him being a quote unquote man. It was more so him being fucking traumatized as a child. I recently came across the term CPTSD, meaning complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's different from PTSD. It's similar, but it's different in the sense of because it's complex. It's how it's nuances to the PTSD and how it's implemented or how it's being displayed in behavior or actions with child to adult, you know what I mean? Or even from gender to gender, you know what I mean? And because of societal norms, you know what I mean? And the pressures of societal norms. I say societal norms, and like I said before, it's a lot of things that I don't like about society, but I don't know that I would say that I will take them all away because it protects us to a certain extent. You know what I mean? It protects us to a certain extent of how we go about life. Because I don't want to see women out there going out to take the trash. I think that chemically it will fuck them up to have to be hard all the time, to be the boss, to be in the leader role. It will fuck them up chemically to have to do that, which is sometimes what it does, and which is why we see a lot of women depressed nowadays. You understand what I mean? But funny thing is that there's also a lot of men depressed because they don't want to step over women, quote unquote, to be in those roles. You know what I mean? They don't want to have to go to war with women to fight for those roles in the industry. There's just a lot of men dropping out of church, especially in the black community. And that's a whole nother reason why, but that's neither here nor there. But there's a lot of black men, I'm not sure about nationwide, but a lot of black men are jumping out of HBCUs and school altogether because of, once again, societal norms. It's just a lot of complex, nuanced topics that's not more so of men are intimidated by women. It's more so a thing of when you see so many people get burned and you just say, like, do I want to go about that? You know what I mean? Do I want to go down that path? Can I look for other reasons or resources that I can go about my life as a traditional man? Well, excuse me, not a traditional man, because obviously tradition is kind of like, it's hard to come by in this day and age, but a modern man. Some would even go as far as being modern. Some would even go as far as, what do you call it? Being a 50-50 man. Now, that's modern nowadays. You know what I mean? And I don't agree with it. You know what I mean? I personally still believe in the traditional. I'm pay all the bills, at least most of the bills. If I can, all the bills. You know what I mean? The big bills. You know what I mean? That's what I feel as though as a man. But there's men that will argue you down. You know what I mean? Because of the modern day of womanhood. Why should I do all the work when we both making the same amount? I'm not saying that I'd agree. I'm just saying that it's there because of society nowadays. But going back to what I was saying before. But I say all that to say, where am I in the equation when it comes to what Mr. Rogers said? When it comes to being loved by women nowadays, I find myself, and this is totally personal. I mean, I'm just going by my experience, as a lot of people would say. But I have the thoughts of where am I considered in this person's life when it comes to considering a woman for love. I go about, I'm not stupid, you know what I mean? I'm very emotionally intelligent. I'm very much aware of things. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I do go about listening and observing a lot of things. My observations have led me to the conclusion that it's a lot of women out there that see men in general, because if they're not treating me as a tool, it'll come back down the line that they will. Very much based off of their interactions with people, not even just men, because sometimes I've seen women that will use women. You know what I mean? So that's why you have the whole situations where women be tired of women. You know what I mean? That's crazy, but it's true. Going to the CPTSD, a lot of children, especially a lot of boys, when you hear so many times that you're not gonna be, or you ain't shit, or your father ain't shit, or you come from a line of niggas that ain't shit, sometimes that shit latches on to the men. And you'd be surprised how much that latches on to the women too. Not that the women ain't shit, but how the women are so much better than the men. Do you see where I'm going? And why we have so many entitled women nowadays? Women that don't even know and understand how they're being entitled. But when you hear so many times of the other gender being ain't shit, even though there's nuances to a lot of things, because, devil's in the details, and the path to hell is paved in good intentions. There's a lot of good men out there, but, I was recently told that I was being a good guy, and how much of a dickhead I was being because of me being the quote unquote good guy, and how it was bare minimum for her. It was bare minimum. I'm laughing because it's not funny, because the shit that I did for this woman in particular, I haven't even done for my family, but it was bare minimum for her. Do you understand where the entitlement comes in with this? You know what I mean? Things that I would do as far as provide and hit her up and make sure she all right. I wouldn't even do that for my family, and you bare minimum. You know what I mean? So it's like, it lets me know, it doesn't make me mad at that said woman. It's disappointing, but it's more so reminds me of who I really should give my quote unquote bare minimum energy levels to, which is my fucking family. You know what I mean? Excuse my language, but it's like, how dare you? You know what I mean? You think so highly of yourself, of me giving my bare minimum, my energy, my time, my money, and it's bare minimum, and I'm considered a good guy or a nice guy. She used it in a derogatory term, of course. Me acting and portraying like a nice guy. No, I actually did fuck with you, actually. You know what I mean? And at the time, I wasn't in a place to be meeting you, I'll say. You know what I mean? But women don't want to hear that shit, nigga. Take that feeling shit take that feeling shit elsewhere, nigga. I want to feel when I'm feeling shit. But when I'm not feeling shit and I'm feeling you, you need to be feeling me. That's the energy it was giving off. You understand what I mean? And I come into that with women that's nice, times women that's, of course, women that's mean. You know, that's relative, but it threw me for a fucking loop. And the main thing is I realized where I should be giving my bare minimum to, which is my grandmother, my sister, my friends that I really know that they truly trust me and fuck with me, my coworkers that I know that truly trust me and fuck with me. You know what I mean? My mentors. That's who I should give my bare fucking minimum to. You know what I mean? How dare you? But it's cool. You can have that right. That's your feelings. You can have that emotions. But you can keep those emotions too by your damn self. Because I don't need that stress. You know what I mean? But, you know, it is what it is. I was always in survival mode. How can I be of use to the women around me mode? And as I grow at the age of 32, to 33 going on to 34, I just realized how much I should be of use to myself. And it took me a while, 20 plus years, but I'm getting it. You know what I mean? I'm getting there. Not fully there. I'm starting to realize what matters and what doesn't matter as far as like what really matters in my mind rather than what matters in society. But I'm getting there. I used to feel as though love is doing. No shit, right? It's funny because it's like, that's why I'm having this whole conversation. I used to always think that love is doing. You know what I mean? You got to do something. As a man, you have to do something or be of some use to be considered a man, right? To be considered of a manly man's man. And that translated into how I felt as though I should be loved by a woman. I have to be doing something to be loved, right? Because you're not a man to that woman if you're not doing something. That's neither the case no more. That was damn near 100%, if not 95, 97% of what I thought love was back in the day. I start to realize how much more emotional intelligence really is in a relationship and how much more the act of loving yourself is even more a part of that relationship. But yes, it's not doing. I don't think about doing when it comes to what I can do for the woman. It's who I can be for that woman. You understand what I mean? When I was first writing this, recording this, and I'm listening over my recordings, I was coming to that realization as of right there that it's not about being. It's not about doing. It's about being. I was saying that it was 10%, maybe 20% of doing, because you have to do certain things to show your love. But then there's the 10% of feelings. You know what I mean? You got to feel that love, of course. And then you have to literally be that love regardless, because there's days where you may not feel like it, but it goes back to the doing. It's not a compromise. A lot of people say that you have to compromise for your lover. It's not a compromise if you love them. You know what I mean? It's not a feeling of I have to do this if you love them. First of all, if you're being that love, you are already in the state of it's going to get done, because it's like it's you that I'm in love with. You know what I mean? That's my art. I love my art. You know what I mean? But it's going to get done. I'm going to draw. Like Picasso, I'm going to draw. Like Frank Frazetta, I'm a fucking draw. If my body gives out on me, I'm a draw. Lord forbid, knock on wood, but it's like, I'm a fucking draw. Going into a relationship, how that would affect my relationship, I've done the countermeasures of how I would go about loving that person. I want to first say that person would have to understand that my passion comes before her, because this the shit that has gotten me through a lot of fucking times, tough times. It's gonna be my bread maker, it has been my bread maker, but I want it to be a full-time type of thing, and I'm working on that. You know what I mean? That's another reason why I don't feel like I need to be dating anyway, because I need to get this shit right for here first. Now, some would say that's toxic, or I think that they need to check about what the fuck they're in love with. Because if you put your love in people and only people and not love yourself, and you're the ones that's backwards. You're the one that's actually backwards, my friend. You got to figure out why you do the things you do. What are you passionate about? Because you're going to need those things when your partner is not passionate about you as much as they was in the beginning. They may say something that make you mad, do something that make you mad. You got to figure out, I know that this is not you, but I still love you. And I'm going to keep doing for you. Of course, no abuse. You know what I mean? Get that abuse about the game. But it's just a matter of being loved. Actually being loved. And there's no way that you can say that you're being loved if you don't love yourself. Don't love yourself to get out of the relationship when you know for a fact that that's not going nowhere. Don't love yourself to not respond to somebody that you for a fact are trying to get you to respond. Or if you do respond, you don't respond in an anger way. You don't respond in a detrimental way, something that you know for a fact will burn the bridge between you and them. Or if you even care. Sometimes even if you don't even care, you don't have to respond. You understand what I mean? But you gotta first be loved to even go about love in that manner. And I'm getting there. I'm not all the way there. I'm still figuring this shit out, but I know for a fact that I know where I want to go. When it comes to love, I get teary-eyed when I think about the woman that I'm fucking gonna love. You understand what I mean? Do you understand what I'm fucking mean? Cause little does she know, I've been in the motherfucking time chamber like Goku, nigga. I can't fucking wait. But it's funny because I'm watch the show Pluto, right? And that was a good, I'm gonna have a video about that as well. But this one was recent, so I tried to put it out because it's recent. I'm probably gonna record that a little bit later. But yeah, I get teary-eyed thinking. I've had dreams about the possible woman that I'm gonna fucking love and get married to. I would like for my marriage to be a one and done, because I already know that she's the one and she knows that I'm the one. You understand what I mean? That type of shit. I need that shit, God. I need that shit. You know what I mean? But I gotta first understand where I lack as a human being, and where I lack in the love department, and where I lack with myself, and what I can do better to be able to make a sound environment. So, but don't be fucking don't get it twisted. Even when you have all of those things, there are some people, be it man or woman, because they don't love themselves, those things don't matter. So that's outside your control. You can only control what you can control. You understand what I mean? Do you get where I'm coming at? Do you understand why I feel the way I feel about the word love? Those things don't fucking matter if that person is going through their own demons. You know what I mean? And you have to be okay with that if you say that you love them or you fuck with them. You got to be okay with that. As long as they're not abusing you. You know what I mean? As long as they're not emotionally manipulative and emotionally abusing you, physically abusing you, let them go through their own demons, bro. You can't be rushing people in their shit. Or leave them the fuck alone. At the very least, leave them the fuck alone. Don't say anything fucked up at the end of the relationship or the end of the friendship. Just be like, all right, I'm sorry that you're going through that. I would like somebody to go through this with me, and this is where I'm at in life. You have a blessed day, a blessed life. I hope you nothing but the best. Bong. No, people and their egos got to get hurt. You know what I mean? People got to hurt you the way they the way they felt that you hurt them. Because sometimes you didn't even hurt them. They're hurt because of their hurt. You know what I mean? You can't deal with that. That's not your problem. That's not a you thing. I had to realize that shit, because I always thought that it was a me. What did I do as the man? Because it's always the man's fault. What did I do as the man? How did I make this woman cry? Even though I know now that there's women that will use their tears in a weapon, use their femininity as a weapon, i.e., Amber Heard, i.e., you know what I mean? That type of shit. It's just, and like I said before, this is not a moral talk. It's just a matter of, this is the late nature of people. I'm specifically talking about men and women, but just people in general. Some people are going to use other people. Some people will hurt people because they're hurt. And I think that that's the worst type of person, to be honest with you. I'm just going to be a whole stack. I actually kind of get actual mad at people that I realize that they're hurt because of something that I didn't do, but they still use that hurt to hurt other people, even if it isn't me. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth on what type of human being you are. And it gives me the right flag, the green flag, to get the fuck away from you. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out. Because I'm next on that chopping block, I'm sure. Be it friend or foe, friend or family. But going back to being love. Are you being loved? Loving yourself is not just giving yourself roses and some candies. You know what I mean? Like I said before, it's putting up boundaries to people that don't need to be in your life. You know what I mean? You know for a fact they may harm you. People that you know may trigger you in certain instances. Because once again, I'm not perfect. But if I know for a fact that somebody may trigger me in the long run, you know what I mean? By how they handle their quote unquote love, how they handle their friendships, their family sometimes even. But another thing is the relationships that the women have with their mom is actually noticed a lot. But how does she feel about her father? How she truly feels about her father? Because the thing about contempt is he can be there and she can still have contempt. He can actually be providing and she can still have contempt. He can be there providing and actually care for the child, and she can have contempt. I've seen situations where the woman will have contempt for the man that actually was trying to be emotionally there as well. He was emotionally there and he was financially there as well. But because of how bad the mother badmouthed him around the children, it's kind of like it seeped into her mind, and her going into relationships with other men is kind of like, I'm better than you. You know what I mean? Because like that's just 1 + 1 = 2. Duh. You know what I mean? Like, why would she have any positive, healthy relationship with a man if the first relationship with the man in her life was her father, and that was sullied by the words of the woman that she loves? You know what I mean? The first woman that she loved. You know what I mean? So it's also the other way around, where women will not have a father, and sometimes, I'm not sure if y'all heard about this, but women with fathers are actually nowadays, in this modern day and age in America, will be even worse than the women without the fathers, because of either, like I said before, where the sullied name of the father, and the man wasn't, I guess he was passive as a father, or he wasn't respected. I'll even say that. I'll give him that. He wasn't respected, but you got to first respect yourself and leave. But that's the problem, because you got to be the man that stayed. You got to be the man that stepped up. Once again, going back to societal norms. You understand what I mean? Society pressures of a man, quote unquote, of who you need to be as a man. I'm just like, man, you could. But I was listening in on Whole Expert on Instagram, right? It's this dude, it's his name. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot the messenger. Whole Expert or something like that. But women who have their fathers in their life are sometimes, if not worse, than the women that don't. Hear me out. So when you have a man that's in your life, he provides for you everything, right? He's your father. He provides for you your food, comfortability, luxury, sheltering, protecting, emotionally there. He is like Superman. By law and by default, I say by law, but by default, but in their heads, by law, as a woman, when she has all that and she goes into a relationship with a man that's of her age, mind you, because that has a lot to play with it. A man that's around her age and they pursuing love, whether they be in college, young adults, you know what I mean? She's expecting that same output of that man. And that's not fair. Let's just be honest. That's not fair. But a lot of society is told upon women to expect that from the men in their lives. As far as women, you should expect that from the men around you and around your age. And if you don't, they broke, they giving bare minimum, they don't love you enough, sis. As they telling them. You can watch it all on TikTok and YouTube, which is a horrible place to get your relationship advice. But this isn't relationship advice. It's just my observations of relationship advice and of relationships between men and women. So, take it with a grain of salt. But they would get that advice that's saying that's what he should do, and if he don't, you should leave him, sis. But nobody says to those women that maybe they need to be more rational, because what if a man comes and has a mother that was the best mother in the fucking world? She cooked for him, she clothed, got him clothes, she loved on him, she was emotionally there for him. He could be able to talk to her about certain shit, you know what I mean? She folded his clothes, she would cook for him, like I said before, she folded his clothes, she cooked for him, she gave him allowance money damn near, shit. You know what I mean? She was like the best mom in the world, right? But if that man expects that of the next woman in his life, what is it considered? What do they say, ladies? He's got mommy issues. I'm not your mom. So why isn't it the same thing with women? It's a double standard, of course. I'm acknowledging that it's a double standard, but yeah, why isn't it the same thing with women? You know what I mean? Why isn't it considered daddy issues with women? Do you understand what I'm talking about? That's a fucked up double standards. Once again, going back to what I said before, I'm not saying that the world is fair, men and women. I'm just saying that these are the times that we live in, and we got to figure out what type of men and women we're going to be when we interact with each other. You know what I mean? Because I know for a fact that I don't want to be a hurt person that hurt other people. When I go about dating or even my normal interactions with everyday people, you know what I mean? I love the people on my route. And some of them are assholes, but they be seeing that I be on my, one of my days where my face just be looking like, fuck this shit, fuck this job, fuck this place, fuck you and your whole crew. But some of them, like the older women and the women in my life, they'll be like, smile. Young man, you have a beautiful smile. Smile. You know what I mean? I'm actually one of those people that don't mind having women ask me, you know what I mean? I don't have other people ask me to smile. I'll actually smile. Like, I don't get mad. Once again, going back to the double standard that women have, I guess. Some women get belligerent when you tell a woman to smile. Because who the fuck are you? I mean, just simple shit like that on how we interact with each other. Once again, going back to what I said about being love. You can't possibly be love if you feel attacked or enraged. Now, don't get the fucking, I'm not a therapist, but I'm going to give therapy advice in the comment section. Listen, I'm not here to say whether she has been triggered, so you should leave her the fuck alone. How many of our women are triggered then? Because there's a lot of y'all saying that y'all don't like smiling. You know what I mean? So how many, is that a society issue? Because I thought that would be like a 1 and 2 type of thing. Like maybe 1 or 2 of y'all. It's damn near half of the fucking room, bro. Half the society. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, cool. I'll give you that. When men say it's okay to smile, it's all right. Cool. You feel attacked or you may feel scared of that man. Cool. No problem. Do not expect that man to jump in front of a bullet or protect you. Do you see where that shit kind of get crass and fucked up when I say that? Because you would expect that man to just why would he do that if you look at him like the enemy? Not saying that all men should be trusted, not saying that all women should be trusted. You should go about judgment. But a lot of the times I have found that people do not like judging. And I say people, I really do women. They don't like judging, but they still make judgments. It's the craziest thing. And it's okay to judge. You could judge me. Matter of fact, I don't even know why y'all still here if you don't like me. You know what I mean? But the main thing is that you have to make judgments to be able to know, okay, if this is for where I'm going in life, or if this isn't, you know what I mean? You have to make judgments. Speaking of judgments, Pluto, he could not make a judgment. This is the character that I'm drawing currently. Because he was a robot. And he had to listen to what funny thing is, his master was a robot too. He had to listen to what his master said. But you know who tried to make judgments and almost made the biggest decision of his fucking life? was Adam, the boy in this scene. I'm not gonna spoil it for you because it's like kind of still new. But if you like anime, check it out. It's very good. I'm gonna talk about it in my next video. But it's very good. I like it a lot. It's okay to make judgments on people. You have to make judgments to be able to like go about life safely and somewhat sound. Because if you don't make judgments on people and you just automatically assume everybody is nice and everybody's good, then that's a problem. But I promise you, the world may not be destroyed if you smile. You will not automatically, the moment you end your smile, end up in somebody's fucking, but I can understand how women and men, between women and men, women are considered the more vulnerable race, and I can understand how that's more triggering for them. But I also want to let y'all understand that some things are trends, and that trend just gotta go. That's definitely a trend, because I don't want to believe that so many of our women do not trust men, and I slowly believe in it, but it's like a lot of women don't trust men, whether it be men in general, there's for their safety, or they don't trust men to like confide in them, or they don't trust men and to trust them to be able to get things done as the men. You know what I mean? Because of the relationship that they've had with men, you know what I mean? Or the men around them. Or even sometimes it's even by women that they probably even had a great relationship with men, but because of the women in their lives didn't, it seeps over into their views of men. Do you understand what? I know I'm not tripping, because women have said this. Women have said this on their TikToks and on their YouTubes, that sometimes the opinions of their friends have made them not help them, but manipulated them into making certain decisions, i.e. Tyrese's wife. You know what I mean? I want to give the lady grace. I'm going to give the lady grace because I don't know that lady from a bag of chips or a can of paint. And at first I was trying to understand what the hell happened, because Tyrese was making it seem like it was one thing, but lo and behold, it was something completely different. We found out by his own words and his own admission that the first date that they went on, he was trying to propose to her and saying that you are my wife and we are getting married. That's not something you do, no matter what stage you're at in life as a man. Once again, women are human beings. They got their own lives. You understand me? So him doing that to her and then being so devastated to what happened after the fact, no, that's on you. Take accountability for that. You know what I mean? I'm for accountability on both sides, bruh. On both sides. I'm gonna just finish this out, but I'm probably gonna time lapse the rest of this and have some shit playing in the background. But go watch Pluto. It's definitely a good show. It's a nice little. I was thinking about reading. Funny thing is, I was thinking about reading the manga 21st Century Boys, because I heard that that's a good one. It's by the same person that created Pluto, and the same person that created Pluto made, I want to say he made Banana Fish. I'm not sure. And that same person that made Banana Fish also made Monster. If you have not watched Monster, you tripping, bruh. It's on YouTube, I think, for free. You can just watch it for free on YouTube. But check out Pluto. It's good.